Toby was asking me, first of all, he asked how to get that transition. He's asking me, how do I prevent the guy from choking me? Okay, it's not my specialty, but I guess he was getting guillotined out from here, right? So the reason why that happens, and it happens in wrestling too, not for choking, but that people start countering things, it's because you're too stationary. Okay? If guys are here and they're waiting, that gives Roland time to think what he can do. Yeah, you can start coming up with a plan. If he has to move around, he has to hop. His first goal is to stabilize himself and try to hop. Okay? He's not thinking on how to defend it. So while he's hopping around, I'm thinking of how I can take him down. So I'm essentially 1 or 2 seconds ahead of him, and I can do my takedown. Okay? Now, so that's movement. Movement's key. All the time. Whatever you have, whether you have this 2-on-1, whether you have the underhook, you're never going to be stationary or standing. You're always going to move your feet, move the other guy around. Now, one big thing I saw in the corner there, a lot of people do it. They pinch their knees together. This, right? Referral syndrome or something. This is not good because now you lost all your stance, you lost all your power, and you can't transition to anything. Right? It feels good because it's locked and tight. It also feels good for that guy. He can also do a bunch of things from there. Right? So rather than doing this, you'll still sometimes feel when I do the move that I clamp the legs. I do it in staggered stance, and I push my knees together, but I'm still in my stand, right? I can still move from here without even holding his leg. If I'm here, it's really hard for me to...
That's the way I've taught it for years. They also taught to me, so if guys are doing it, that's clearly my fault.
Yeah, no, it's...
Actually, every jiu-jitsu school I've ever been to, that's how they teach the single. Like you do
the staggered stance is actually a revelation from you.
Okay.
No, it's good.
You may see a guy who wants to reverse that, right? But it goes against all the principles of basic stands that you stand like this, bent over, like there's no strength from there. So if you have to clinch the leg, do it from your stance here. Yeah, I'm very strong from here. I can move my feet, still very easy. Switch to the double. Okay, so that's just a fine point. If you do it, you see your partner do it, just point it out. Don't stand like that. It looks funny anyway, so.
That's the main reason.
Alright, now let's do a couple finishes from here. My favorite one, or not favorite, but preferred one is to get out in the way. Okay? Easy way to do it is with double leg. So you see me, I have my arms wrapped here. It's because I don't like standing here and waiting here. As soon as I get this in, I'm going to switch to double and anything else. So for now, for the double, how many know in double leg? Sort of, a little bit? Okay. So I won't spend too much time on it. Essentially, I'm going to take my right hand, wrap it around his knee. Again, it's a wrap. It's not you pulling it. This, I'm trying to wrap because his legs are going to be far away. I'm going to take his left foot, or his right foot, my left hand out to my side, by either stepping or just pulling it up. And now I'm going to do the football shuffle. You'll see a lot of guys doing one big step like this, going to the knee and hoping that the guy will fall. Not going to work. It may with the guy who doesn't know how to move, but guys will hop. Okay? And that's where in practice, it's really good if you just have a partner who keeps hopping a bit. You just keep walking with it. Just get a feel for it. Okay? He's obviously not falling right now, so I'm doing something wrong. I'm bent over like this, so I'm not very strong. I want to get back into my stance. It feels much better on my back. Cup that knee and pull it in. Remember the elbow T-Rex arms? Bring it back as much as possible. It's not going to be as ideal as in Greco, but still going to get it. Pull it in, and now drive. My right ear is going to drive, while my right hand is going to block his knee. Okay. What I told you earlier about arm drag, waiting for him to touch the ground, applies here as well. There's no point in me pushing him and being down here trying to push. Okay? Wait for him to go down before you touch your knees to the mat. So, in here, pull that in, start driving. As I feel him go to the ground, then I follow. Okay? Without a partner, it looks somewhat like this. Reach around, shuffle. Look at my feet. You're not going to see this. I'm not going to dance around ballerina. A good side shuffle. So we did earlier in the warm-up. That's all it is. Shuffle sideways. Okay. Your head is driving to the right. Your arm is trying to pull his knee to clip it.
Quick question, Sven. So how come you don't want to drop to your knees early?
Because if a guy's still hopping,
Yeah.
good question. The guy's hopping around. I'm down here.
Yeah.
I get buried.
I see.
Right? I'm not very mobile on my feet, on my knees. If you're good at doing this,
Yeah.
you can try, but it's hard. Right?
Okay, so
you're at a disadvantage.
So one of the double leg takedowns that I was taught, you actually come in on your knees at the guy's legs. So would you say that that's maybe not a great way to do a double? Yeah. So basically, standing into your position like this, come in like this, and then the shuffle this way. So you kind of start low, and then you kind of drive it up sideways. So you say that's bad to my knees?
I prefer not to,
Okay.
because it's a lot of work.
Okay.
I'm down here.
Yeah.
Now I have to, I give him a chance to do something. I'm down here. Now all that work to try and stand back up,
Yeah.
it's a lot of muscle you use.
Okay.
Whereas if I'm in my stance, I'm here in case I need to bail. I'm back in my stance. Okay. So if it works for you to go to your knee, like any of the moves, if you can make it work, go for it. Do it.
Okay.
But just to prefer for me, like to be efficient, I like to be in here. You see some guys, they shoot a high crotch from here, punch their knee briefly. Sure, they've done it a lot of times and they do it really fast. Okay? But anytime you hang out on your knee, it's just, you're stationary now. You're not, remember the movement? You always want to move to keep them behind you a second or two.
Yeah.
So you lose that movement when you're on your knee. Okay?
Thank you, Tom.
Okay, so double leg finish. From here, drive it. See some guys, they really lift them up. Try to slam them down. It's great, it looks nice, and if you're a roid monkey and you can pick guys up like that, that's awesome. I was always a skinny gangly kid, so I couldn't do this. So I prefer to just drive it. Right? Movement. Rather than breaking my back, trying to do this. Just trying to really do the shuffle steps. Okay, so that's double leg. Now let's say he blocks the leg. He blocks the elbow. My right elbow, I can't get this out. He blocks it. Like push down on my right elbow. Yeah, down. So a lot of times you can't get this, right? Sucks. What are you gonna do? First thing you want to do is move. Okay? If you're here and you can't do anything, start moving. Move around. You're off balance. Sometimes you can then pop your arm out. If that still doesn't work, then we'll go to running the pipe. So either this grip or here. I prefer down here because it extends my pipe that much longer. Okay. Now running the pipe means I look for an empty space. Okay. His legs up, so I see this big gap in front of me. That's the one I want to fill is his butt. Bring his butt in that gap. Okay. If I'm here and I'm trying to fill that gap now, my knee's going to be in the way. I can't get down here. Right? So you want to create that space, make that space even bigger. I like doing it by making a half circle step with my foot. I'm sort of over-exaggerating. Usually you'll find me here anyways. But just so you can see it. My foot's in here, I'm going to just take that step back. And now the key is to not come down this way. Because it's really hard for me now to get to the ground. I'm not that flexible. My legs up. So, elevate. Come down. My shoulders are still in line with my hips and my knees. You just take this. And now I'm in a good position to defend. Then up here, and then this. It's a lot harder for me to transition onto ground, whatever you do on the ground. So squatting down and torquing, rotating your torso. Okay, just like the 2-on-1 with the shoulder. Same idea here. Except you have the pipe, and you kind of bring your right shoulder down a bit with pressure, and your arms wrapped around it. You step back as he falls, then you can go one hand transition to something else. So that's finding the pipe. Let's focus on those two. I'll show you a couple more. Just my time's running fast. I'll show you a couple more that we can work on, and you can ask me later. When I'm in here, a lot of times I like getting out. Yeah, I don't like being cluttered in here. You can push the head down. It's just not very comfortable. So you can do one that you take a step back and bring him out to the ankle. Okay. Pull the leg from here. Again, same thing. I want to move him. When he's stationary here, he's going to think of how he can break his lock and get out. Move him. Don't move him around. Okay. Next thing you got to think about is like, what do I do from here? Got a couple options. Grab his head, and where's the space right now? Right there. So it's almost like running the pipe. Take a step back, move down. Same thing with the knee. So let's say he's really good at collar tie, doesn't let me get in there. He's fighting it, fights it. I don't care. Pop his knee. Okay. It's not like I'm trying to break it. I'm moving it in an anatomical direction. Pushing it down, pulling back. Okay. Nice and gentle. Works from here too. Pull this way. Work the way up tighter. Moving this way. When I showed the arm drag, right? Roland was doing a big step back. So now his leg's back here. Am I still going to attack that? Probably not. Kind of really far, but this leg comes out. Really nice now. Step across. Pick it up. Now you notice the difference. I'm on the outside of his leg. Still works the same way. Reach in. As long as I understand the principle of looking for the hole, that gap there, I can still take it down. Okay, still works. So it's the body, cross body, single leg. Here, steps back, step in, lift it up. Okay, same thing here, you can push that knee around, trying to get him to move. A lot of these also work by pulling one way, pushing the other way. So get him to react and move. How much are the other one?
I showed that in group class. It was like the day after our private. I actually showed that.
Okay, so they different layers.
No, you guys?
So this would be
This is the one?
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll keep it at this one just so there's a lot of stuff that to remember. For the grip, it's important to not let that leg flop around. You can jump out, you can wiggle it up. So I want to bring it right under my armpit, here. And now we have this nice calf muscle. If you torque that, you should feel it. The partner should be able to tell there's torque on it. My hands are just going to grip together. I'm going to bring my hips in. I'm not going to be out here. I'm not effective, right? Goes back to the basic stance. Just lift your wrists up a bit. Work good with your grab there. And move it. Any questions? Remember the first two, right?
Question on variation on the single leg. Do you ever roll with it?
Roll with it?
Yeah, like a game roll kind of thing with the single.
Can you show me what you mean?
Sure.
I can tell you.
Might not be a good idea with him just because I know
Use my other knee.
between
Whichever one you need.
if you get the single, right? Do you ever do moves where you roll to the outside or to the inside of the leg?
Do you know how to?
Yeah.
No, never at all. It's harder, I guess, less common in wrestling because you lose points when you expose your back, right? So they won't really use that as much. In collegiate, I guess you could in the American style, but I've never really done it that much. It's different once you're on the ground. Right? A lot of the work on the ground here now would involve stuff like rolling around, but not as much. Yeah, not the best person to ask for that.
Okay. No problem.
Alright, so work on the transition to the double. Do a nice shuffle step, and then running the pipe properly. And I'll go around it. Try it. Ask me questions if you want to do the other ones. You can do that as well, and I can try and guide you in the right direction.